So obviously we're pleased to introduce DCKAP as our newest software and digital technology partner. DCKAP specializes in scalable, modern solutions designed for distributors that rely on TrulinX as the core of their business. Just a couple housekeeping notes. We're going to have everyone muted during this webinar today. We will have time for Q&A, and you can also put any questions you have in the chat. We have folks monitoring that area as well. And this will also be recorded and sent out after for anyone that could not attend this. So real brief, so who is DCKAP? They're an industry-leading provider of digital transformation tools that help companies connect, automate, and optimize their ERP environments. Their platforms eliminate manual processes, improve data accuracy, and enable seamless communication between systems. So why we partnered with DCKAP? They have a proven track record with distributors and manufacturers alike for decades. They have deep experience integrating with ERP platforms. They're scalable modern technology that enhances your existing TrulinX system. And some current TrulinX customers highly recommended them to us. They actually brought them to us. So what this means for you, our customers, this partnership expands the solutions we can offer, giving you access to modern integration options and automation tools that make your TrulinX system even more powerful. So without further ado, I will hand it over to the group at DCKAP.
Thanks, Jeff. And hi, everyone. This is Dave Nanda. I work as a senior solution consultant for DCKAP, and I would be the person explaining how the DCKAP integrator works. And before I start, I want to first of all thank the Tribute team and specifically Jeff and Lorna for introducing DCKAP to all of you, and also, setting this up, this wonderful webinar so that everyone would be able to understand and also take a look and a glimpse of how the DCKAP integrator works as well. And also, I would also like to thank all of you to join in. I know how valuable your time is, and we hope we give you the full value of your time. And we also hope that you find the DCKAP integrator well worth an integration system that you might use in the very near future. I'll be sharing my screen right now in terms of the presentation for the DCKAP integrator. Let me know if you're able to see the same.
Yep, I can see it.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, as Jeff started off, so the DCKAP team have partnered with the Tribute team, and specifically in terms of integrating the TrulinX ERP to other systems. And what we will discuss today are the power of partnership and how DCKAP and TrulinX mix together in terms of finding a seamless integration solution for the TrulinX ERP to connect to any system. What the DCKAP integrator is, it's an ERP first integration platform, and what we call ourselves is an integrating platform that makes any system talk to each other. So TrulinX being one ERP, if you want to connect it to any other system, we would be able to do that as well. Now let's talk about the businesses that runs on TrulinX. We know that there are so many different aspects of every businesses, specifically the B2B, the distribution business as well. You have different systems like CRMs, you have your e-commerce, you have different trading partners, you have WMSs, you might have PIMs as well. Now, all of these critical business systems where you have your ERP, which would be TrulinX, there might be a chance that most of these are not connected to each other, or even if they are, it might be something that's totally manually done. And we know how much of a pain it is to, take all the manual data and basically copy paste it, or whichever manual method you have, doing it on a day-to-day basis. It's not just like a human manual process, first of all, but it also takes away a lot of your valuable time in terms of kind of utilizing it for other business processes as well. And that's why we justify your data being trapped in silos is a big problem. And as I also said a little bit before, the high cost of disconnected systems. So we all know how many wasted hours there are on manual data entry you can do so many other things. You can put your effort, your knowledge, your mindset into so many other, I mean, aspects of your business. We don't want all of that going into manual data entry. And not only that, even if you are doing manual data entry, there can be like a lot of manual errors, human errors. That's obviously something that is not controlled, can happen anytime, anywhere. You have inaccurate data coming from every system. We all know how costly that becomes. I mean, it's not just one particular instance we would be looking at, but there would be many. And I can understand, like in the history of every business, this would be costing a lot, both directly and indirectly. And the same goes for the risk of losing customers. Now, these, I mean, integrations, it's not only like, I mean, syncing data to each other, but it also, in a way, syncs customers to each other in a way, because, sync the synchronization of data from one system to another has such a big impact on the business itself, and that does cause any issues with that does cause the risk of losing customers. Not only that, having integration between or having your systems connected to each other would also cause a lot of new customers coming in. So, I mean, this is something that we have seen for a lot of distributors, a lot of businesses in general that have an issue when all their systems are not synced to each other. And that is why, I mean, that's why the DCKAP team have, I mean, partnered with TrulinX in terms of being a super integrator and providing a very powerful solution in terms of integrating TrulinX to any other system that is there out there. And if you can see this infographic system, we are keeping TrulinX as the main hub, and from there you can connect to any other system using the integrator. Now, if you can see over here, the bridges are what the DCKAP integrator will provide in terms of giving you a proper way in terms of syncing data and also receiving data from TrueLinks and to TrueLinks. So as we also started, what is the DCKAP integrator? So we are an ERP first integration platform that connects any system to any other system. So how we do it? We do it via APIs. Now, if we do not have APIs, we also do connection via file transfer protocol. Also, I mean, secure file transfer protocol. We can also go for integration through direct database access. So basically, as long as we have access to the data of any particular system, we would be able to integrate the same. So that's in a very short line, any system, any integration that's possible as long as we have access to the data. Now, we also go for real-time data syncs. So it's not only the batch syncs. We can also go for real-time data syncs. We can also go for near real-time data syncs. We can also go for scheduled data syncs. So all of that is very easily performed through the integration itself. We also have a very flexible architecture. I'll be showcasing that a little bit later as well in terms of how we can add multiple complex business logics in terms of any particular business need as well. So it's very easy to configure that as well. And in terms of any complex logic that a business has, you can very easily put it through the integration and sync your system as well. And another thing is the integrator does not store any data. We just have a 30-day logging period, and that gets deleted as well. I'll also showcase that in the demo of the DCKAP integrator going forward. But I mean, at the end of the day, the DCKAP integrator works as a pipe, and it does not store any data during a particular synchronization. And I mean, if you can see the screen over here, how we normally go for a particular synchronization is we fetch data from one source, and it can be TrueLinks, it can be any other system. And as I said, we fetch it using the access through the data access of the data. It can be via APIs, it can be via database access, it can be via FTP, it can also be via EDI as well. And after we fetch the data, we can transform and map data. That's where like all the complex business logics that are there can very easily be configured. And after that transformation and also the data mapping between the two systems, we easily sync it to the destination system. So all the complexity in terms of integration is handled by the DCKAP integrator so that, I mean, your team can solely focus on your business itself. The and yeah, I mean, what does the integration do basically, and like how do we take care of it? Now, for example, the data transformation, how is that done? So we do have something called a code runner. That's basically a Python editor inside the workflow of the integration itself, and that's the reason we're confident of adding any sort of logic possible, because it's basically anything that Python can program, we can add it in the integration as well, and it's very easy to activate or configure as well. In terms of mapping, we also have a very easy drag and drop interface for mapping the two systems to each other. So that's also something that I will showcase later as well, but that's also a very good use case feature in terms of the integration, and that's the bread and butter of every integration as well. Decision trees. Now, this is basically in terms of conditional logic. Like, for example, if you want a particular type of data going into the other system, you can add those. You can also add like the looping systems. All of those things are also configured as well. We do also have notifications. If you want to go for custom notifications through a particular workflow, we are able to send emails to like not only one but a group of people as well. And in terms of logging, you get the transparency of the entire logs where whatever data has been synced from one system to another, you're able to see that. And in the very edge case scenarios where there might be a failure, you will also get a failure reason as to why this particular synchronization failed. And not only that, you will also get a notification for that as well. So it's very, I mean, flexible, powerful, as well as transparent in terms of the way it works. And as I said, I will also showcase you an exact demo, so you can also take a look at the same how that work looks. Now, yeah, and as also Jeff said that we have some Toolings customers who are, I mean, some of our success stories, and we have ACI controls, and we do have John Viskerat from ECI Controls over here to also give some of his views today as well. And we can also showcase today how ECI Controls use DCKAP integrator to connect two links to their CRM, which is HubSpot. And so, what did we do for ACI Controls? So, the very basic thing was we integrated HubSpot with TrulinX ERP. Now, before they were facing an issue in terms of having data in TrulinX, but they wanted to create HubSpot deals. But they did have a lot of issues in terms of like they had a lot of business logics behind going for that particular data entry. So they were doing that, I mean, manually first. And what we tried to do is we took a look at their business need, and based on that particular logic, we did configure their entire integration for a code sync. So what we were able to do was we were able to fetch data from TrueLinks, fetch the code data from TrueLinks to be exact, and then create HubSpot deals. And through these deals, they were able to um, also send emails and follow-up emails to their own customers so that, I mean, those particular codes are visible to them from time to time. And that also in turn led to a lot of extra sales as well. We will also showcase that, I mean, the live integration project as well. So that will also be something that would be quite insightful. Um, so yeah, so in terms of the result, we were able to complete it within like 2 to 3 weeks, the entire project. We were able to like integrate not only the deal, I mean, we also added line items to that as well. We were able to create the custom APIs in Toolings. So the way we were able to fetch data in Toolings was through a direct database connection via our custom APIs. So that's how we were able to fetch the data from Toolings and send it over to HubSpot. Um, so the next part of this particular presentation would be on EDI, I mean, which is short for electronic data interchange. So the DCKAP integrator also provides a managed EDI service where we are able to sync data to trading partners, and we're also able to fetch the EDI files from trading partners and send it over to Link CRP as well. So I'll also be showcasing a demo on the same, but it's also one of the newest offerings that DCKAP Integrator has. And how our EDI solution works is, so we have two types. One is an outbound and another is an inbound. Now, outbound is it's basically we fetch data from TrulinX. It can be invoices, it can be orders. We translate the TrulinX data into an EDI file via our DCKAP EDI translator, and then we send the particular EDI file into the trading partner. We do it through the DCKAP EDI engine. Inside the DCKAP EDI engine, we do have WAN, we do support ES2. We also are able to sync via FTP or SFTP, and we also support like X12 and EDIFACT and all the major standards as well. And on an inbound scenario, we fetch the data, the EDI files, and translate it through the DCKAP EDI engine. And once we get the translation done through the DCKAP EDI engine, we are then able to send it over to TrulinX as well. Now that's how the inbound side works. I'll also showcase that the entire workflow in the demo project as well, so that will also help you out in terms of understanding the same. Yeah. So in terms of how does a particular integration work in terms of the DCKAP integrator? So the first part is we have a discovery call. So so me as a solution consultant, me and my team, we are part of this particular aspect where we get the requirements from the customer or like people like you all. And from there, we understand what are the data points that are needed in terms of integration. It can be customers, it can be orders, it can be product, it can be inventory, can be any other invoices as well. So based on that, we get the feasibility of how the particular integration is done, and also if you would like to use custom APIs or like the cloud-based APIs, all of that is also taken into account. Then after we get that, we get an order form signed and we get a contract with the particular customer. And once the contract is signed, we start with the implementation, where a dedicated project manager is assigned for this project specifically. They will be the people taking all the, I mean, after getting the initial side of the discovery data from the part one of the particular call. So what they will do is they will build the entire integration with the DCKAP development team for the particular customer. So all of that, I mean, the customer does not have to do anything in terms of building the integration. The only thing that we would need is the business logics and what are the data points that they want to integrate from into TrulinX. And after all of that implementation is complete, we then go for the go live side. And even during the implementation, we also do testing as well to make sure that like all the particular data is syncing in properly. And after that, we go live with a particular integration project. And after we go live, we also do provide support. So the entire integration from cradle to grave is handled by the DCKAP integrator team. And not only that, we also like if there is a particular customer interested in terms of building the pipes themselves, we also give them training and also help them out for them to build a pipe in our platform as well. So there are two ways of how we do it. We either do it ourselves for them, or we also help them to build themselves if they want the same. Um, Now, the benefits of a truly connected business, and we named it truly connected because of TrueLinks. And so basically, what do we provide the TrueLinks customer? So you can connect TrueLinks to any system that you use. It can be a CRM, it can be a WMS, it can be a PIM, it can be an e-commerce. Now, all of that is very easily connected from TrueLinks, like from or to TrueLinks to that particular system. um, and I mean, basically due to this integration that basically goes about with automation as well. So all the manual data entry and errors are reduced. You also get real-time data in terms of better decision making. And I mean, not to say that the accuracy and operational efficiency increases as well. And what is written over here is basically what we have got from reviews from all our customers. It's not just based on this presentation. So we've had a lot of customers from where we got to understand, okay, where is the value coming from the DCKAP integrator? And these were the major points that we actually found out. In terms of TrulinX for that partnership, now what do we help or what are the benefits for TrulinX? Now we are filling a major critical integration gap for them. Now they have a particular partner where we are able to handle the entire integration. They can solely focus on the ERP side of things, and also like I mean in terms of the ERP customer retention and satisfaction as well. It does also give them a competitive advantage because obviously integrations going forward would be the way to go for all ERPs. So that does help them out as well. And not only that, the EDI, the managed EDI service that we give also gives them another advantage in terms of in any ERP integration to any trading partner as well. So yeah, let's build your connected future. And in terms of what we need for EDI and what we need for a particular integration, we would just need the basic requirements as to your data points and also like the business logics, and we can start off with any integration as soon as possible. You can visit the dccap.com website for any integration inquiries. If not, you also have the tribute team to help you out in terms of contacting us. And yeah, we would love to start off with any particular discussion in terms of how we can help you out. So yeah, so this is the part of the presentation that we have here. And yeah, I guess this would be a good time for John Visterat from ACI Controls to give a little bit of his overview and knowledge as well as feedback from what he noticed regarding the integration project with DCKAP. And after that, we will also go for the demo showcasing of the integration as well. So John, if we can have some of your time, would be great.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm John Wisheratha with ACI Controls. I'm one of the owners here. I've been here 38 years and have been with TrulinX since 2009. We have struggled a long time with having the inside and the outside folks being on the same page with quotes and customers and stuff like that. So one of the ways we did it was we decided to make a wholesale change on our CRM, and we switched and went to a HubSpot solution, knowing full well that the folks at DCKAP has done integrations before. So in August, we went with a clean install of HubSpot and got as much of our old database, clean data in. And then we worked with Mohammed and Dev on their side, and then Ben on the TrulinX side to map all the tables. And I was just basically setting the rules. Mohammed and Dev did a fantastic job. They were very thorough. It was very, very fast. It was very easy from my point of view. They took care of all the technical stuff. They asked questions as to what fields did I want, how do I want it to look, and how do I want it to work. When they say it took 2 to 3 weeks, it is correct. It took 2 to 3 weeks. I was the slow part on that because we as a team were fixing the rules. So it was a very good experience. It was very fast and very thorough. And the results we're seeing on our side, just 3 months into this, is outstanding. The data we have in HubSpot is, I said to them the other day, it's somewhat overwhelming. We're taking the time to now analyze all of it. So from my point of view, I couldn't be more thrilled. I thank them a million times. They did a great job. So with that said, Dev, I appreciate everything you guys done. Our outside team is now really tied in to the inside team. They go to a customer, they see the deal, and they know what's going on without have to call in or do anything. So all the information is in one spot, which is very, very impactful.
Thanks, John, for the very kind words. And yeah, I mean, I hope like everyone got to know how the DCKAP integrator have had one of the good success stories with John and his team. And yeah, I'll take you through the demo side of the DCKAP integrator as to how the application really looks like. Um, yeah, is my screen visible?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, perfect. So basically, the presentation that I showcased you was of the DCKAP integrator as you see it right now. And what you're seeing on the screen is the DCKAP integrator project screen. And what we have are the different workflows over here where I mean all of these workflows are based on the data points that you want to integrate from one system to another. I'll, and as I said, we are an ERP first integration platform. So basically what we're doing over here is we're connecting TrulinX to other applications, and it can be any application that supports APIs, that can support EDI, that can also support SFTP, FTP, or even like for example, if there is no access to APIs or SFTP, we can also create the custom APIs as well to connect to the integrator as well. I'll take you through an actual workflow internally and how it works. It's kind of a simplified model of a particular order sync, and what's the goal of this particular sync is order syncing from one system, and this can be an e-commerce, it can be CRM, can be WMS, PIM, or any particular system to TrulinX, where it creates an order over here. Now, how this happens is we fetch orders from the first system. As I said, it can be any of these systems. We fetch these orders, and after we fetch these orders, we run the data transformation on the flow level. And what that means is on the flow level, we have a lot of functionality that you can very easily put. Now, the decision is basically an if-else statement. It looks something like this. So you can give decisions if it's proper if-else statements or conditions that you need. You can also do looping, which it can be any sort of looping based on getting multiple data from a particular system. You can loop it one by one, or based on any looping logic that's needed. You have a formatter as well, so data can be formatted at any point that's required. I'll take you through the code runner and notification in a while, but before that, I'll just let you know that we also have the detailed loggers where you can log the particular data coming in or syncing in as well. We have a console where it's kind of part of the logs as well, where you can print something on the console logs. We can also give responses based on how it's needed in the workflow itself. We also have sleep, which basically used for certain integrations where there might be API rate limits, and for example, some particular systems would say that okay, we can only provide 100 API calls per minute. So if we give some sort of a sleep logic, like this particular sleep logic, it kind of waits for a second or two so that we can also control the API rate limits as well for a particular system or for a particular system subscription to stay intact. We can also stop a particular workflow. It's normally used for testing purpose, but that's also can be done. We also have a snippet. Now, snippet is a workflow inside a workflow. It's kind of a function that you can add inside a workflow. So that's also something that also helps out if you want to kind of remove one part of the particular workflow and kind of add it as a smaller workflow as well. Now, inside this, we also have now the notification and the code runner. I'll showcase how that actually, what that actually is. The notification is based on any particular logic. You can actually send a notification email to one or multiple stakeholders. Now, like certain examples are, for example, in an order sync, if there are certain SKUs that do not have inventory. So these particular SKUs, if you need your team to know beforehand, you can actually send these notifications email to your team via the integrator itself. So it's not, this is one small example, but you can actually do multiple things based on the same as well. And this is an internal, it's very useful for an internal notification in terms of the workflow logic as well. Another and one of the now I'll go to the code runner, which is kind of the most impactful function inside the workflow. And what the code runner is, it's basically a Python editor. So, and as I described even in the presentation, that this is something that you can actually add any sort of logic, any sort of business logic that's programmatically possible. and basically Python 3.1 supports, you can very easily add it inside, in this particular workflow itself. So we are able to go for any complex logics as required. So it becomes very easy for like any particular logic to be worked upon inside the integration as well. So that's how we are able to do data transformation very easily as well. So I'll just take you through this particular process once again. So we fetch data from the first system, we run some data transformations over here. And then after the data transformation, we come to the mapping and modifier section, which is basically the bread and butter of every integration. And what this is basically the mapping between the two systems, the source system, which is on the left, which is like it can be the e-commerce, the CRM, or any particular system that we're getting from one source, and the destination is the tooling CRP. Now we're able to do the mapping very easily. Like it's basically drag and drop over here, and like you can do one-to-one mapping, you can do many-to-one mapping, you can also do one-to-many mapping. You can also add logics over here. You can like do concatenate. You can also add like multiple logics like array, append, search. All these kind of logics you can very easily add as well. So it's quite flexible. As well as powerful in terms of how you want your mapping to be done from one system to another. And as I said, this is kind of the bread and butter of every integration in terms of mapping the data from one system to another. And not only that, we also have something called a preprocessor. Now, this is also very close to what the code runner is, probably the exact same thing I would say, but the only difference is the code runner is on the flow level of data, and this is for the field level of data. Now, if you want your mapping to have a little bit of more logic or a little bit of more complexity that might be required, so that's something that we can very easily also add in the preprocessor as well. So in a way, not only like the easy mappings can be done in the mapping modify section that I showed, but in the preprocessor, all the complex logics can also be done. And so in a way, like it's very, like as I said, it's not only flexible, it's also very powerful in whatever business logic that you would want in any particular integration as well. And after this mapping and modifier section, basically the integrator actually triggers the record sync. And after this particular part, we are then printing the records into the logs. Now, what that means is whatever data that you are like syncing in that goes into the logs, we just keep the high level details over here because we do not store any data. The integrator does not store any data, but any data that you want to show in the logs, we do store it just for 30 days. After 30 days, this becomes deleted. And the reason why we keep the logs is information related to the synchronization. Now, for example, if you have 30 records syncing in, so it does show how many records successfully got synced, how many records failed to sync. And it also, like for example, for failure also, you will get a notification directly to the stakeholder saying why it failed. It can be like a data issue, it can be um, uh, an API issue, it can be a system issue. So all of that you get a direct email first of all, but not only that, the detailed loggers itself gives you a very transparent message as well as to why it failed. So you not only have, like for example, if you have any issues as well, which is very rare in terms of after you go live. But if you have any issues, you can also get to know yourselves as to why the particular issue happened, and you kind of self-govern and self-solve it yourself. But not only that, we also will help you out in terms of any particular support needed. But we do have the logs, which are very helpful for everyone. And also the reason why we say the DCKAP integrator also works as a pipe. So in a way, if you see, we fetch data from one system, we do the data transformation, and we do the mapping modifiers. Then we print in the logs, and the logs are then deleted. So we're not storing any data. So the data is safe with you. It's only the logs that we have that gets stored for 30 days, but that's only based on the records that are being synced or not synced. And as I said, it's a very powerful and flexible, engine to work with in terms of any sort of integration that's required. And also another thing to note of in terms of this particular integration, what you're seeing over here is actually a very simplistic model of a particular integration, you can actually add multiple systems as well. Now it's over here, we have like one system over here and another system, which is TrulinX. Now, if you want, you can actually add in the same flow, you can add as many systems as possible, or even the same systems once again. Now, for example, if we have like, for example, HubSpot, we are fetching HubSpot data into like fetching data from HubSpot, syncing into TrueLinks, and then if needed, we can also, whatever data we get from TrueLinks after an order gets created, we can again then sync that data back to HubSpot as well. So you can also like use the system again in the same workflow as well. And also you can add as many systems as possible along with, I mean, the tooling CRP that is there. Another thing to note of in terms of the integration is the types of sync we have. We have a batch synchronization, which basically runs on a schedule. I'll showcase you how that works. Is if you can see this, you can actually like configure schedules based on minutes, hours, days of month, days of week, based on different time zones as well. You can add multiple schedules as well. The minimum is 5 minutes. The maximum can be as flexible as possible. If you click on the autopilot mode, then it starts with the schedule sync. If not, you can also run the sync manually by clicking on the sync now button over here. And another way we also go for integration is a dynamic sync, which is a real-time synchronization. And basically what this is, it's a webhook that we create based on the data that we get from like a particular system. Over here, generally we use this for a dynamic pricing or customer specific pricing scenario where this particular webhook is then, I mean, hooked up or subscribed to into a particular e-commerce. Like these are examples for Magento and Shopify, those kind of systems. So this is a real-time sync where the sync is triggered by the front-end system. The thing that needs to be done for any dynamic sync is that this particular API need or this particular like webhook needs to be integrated onto the front end side or onto the source or onto the system that's triggering it. So, like for example, a Shopify system or a Magento system, that particular team needs to use this particular webhook to subscribe to the dynamic sync. We also provide the API documentation for this. So the request, the response, it can be as flexible as needed. So if you want a different type of request and different type of request response, we can also create the same. So that's the flexibility of what you can do in the integration. I mean, the internal part is almost entirely the same as to what you saw in the batching. The only thing is it gets triggered due to a dynamic um, payload. Now, if you see, this is kind of a customer specific pricing payload where we get the customer ID and the product ID from the e-commerce system. That's one example. And then from there, we fetch the data from TrueLinks and then send it back the way that based on the way that the front end system needs it. So this is how the dynamic integration works. Yeah, and another thing to know of is in terms of the systems that we integrate in general. So as I said, any system that has APIs or EDI or SFTP and FTP, we're able to integrate. So these are like all the other systems that we have presets of. Now what that means is like there is no restriction for any system that we're not able to integrate. Any particular integration that has APIs, we are able to integrate. If there's a system that you're not finding here, you can very easily add it within 15 minutes. So if you have the API documentation, we can add a new system over here like very easy. It's very similar to how you add a collection in Postman. So adding a new system in the integrator is quite easy and quite fast as well. Not only that, as I said, for example, if you do not have APIs, we do, I mean, support EDI, FTP, and SFTP. And also, as I said, we also create the custom APIs if we have access to the database. So as long as we have access to the data, we're able to integrate any system to any system, specifically through links to any other system that is required. So yeah, this was the demo for the DCKAP integrator on the integration project. I'll take you next to the EDI project where I'll showcase how the integrator is used for an inbound and an outbound sync of an EDI. I'll start with an outbound, which is an 810 invoice sync from TrulinX to a particular trading partner. And it's very similar in terms of like the workflow. The workflow is, I mean, there's nothing different in terms of how the EDI connections goes on, but in terms of certain aspects of it, we have kind of had certain like extra inputs to these particular workflows to make sure that the EDI integration work as well. Now, if you take a look at this, what we do is, I mean, we're doing some data transformations for a start in terms of getting the data from the TrulinX ERP. So here we're getting the invoices from TrulinX, and then from the invoices, if you see, we're also running some data transformation techniques and through the code runner, which I also explained you before. And from there, we are fetching orders. Now, once we get the orders, we are then creating an invoice payload. So all of this data we get in a JSON format or an XML format or any text-based format. We get this from the tooling side of the ERP. And then the next step is converting the tooling's data into an EDI file. So the DCKAP integrator has an EDI translator in the integrator itself, where we're able to translate the text-based data into an EDI file. Now, once this EDI file is generated, then what we do is we send it to the DCKAP EDI engine. Now, internally in the EDI engine, we have bands, we have FTP, SFTP as well, we have ES2 protocol as well. Now, based on these particular scenarios, or these particular methods, through the DCKAP EDI engine sends the EDI file directly to the trading partner. And after that particular scenario is done, then we just basically print it in our logs as to how the integration, I mean, or the records that have been synced. So just to give you a recap of what we're doing again, we're fetching data from TrueLinks, running some data transformation, then creating an invoice payload, creating the text-based data into EDI using the EDI translator, then using the DCKAP EDI engine to basically transfer the data into the trading partner that is needed or that is needed to be integrated. And this is how an outbound integration works. Now we'll go forward to how an inbound integration for an EDI works. Now you have 850 purchase orders that will be coming um, from a particular trading partner into TrueLinks. And this is a dynamic API, and how this is actually taken or integrated is this dynamic payload or this particular data that we get it from the DCKAP EDI engine itself. So what the DCKAP EDI engine does before this particular step is it fetches the data from the EDI from the trading partner. The trading partner sends the data via WAN or FTP or AS2 protocol. Through those, it gets the particular data, the EDI file. It converts the EDI file in the DCKAP EDI engine, then sends us this kind of data. If you see, I mean, just for a messaging system, we have written incoming data from DCKAP EDI engine. Now, over here, you get a text-based data. Mostly, it's JSON data, but ultimately it's data that can be like very easily understood by the integrator. Now, once we get this particular data, we run some like data transformation based on how TrueLinks needs it. We then get the order based on the PO number from TrueLinks, and then we create the purchase orders as necessary based on the integration. And over here, we also have the mapping and modifiers as well. Let me showcase this as well. So how this works is you also can see like the integration over here. Some like just for a default one, we have a lot of default mapping given over here, but this is how like the integration takes place on an inbound EDI demo as well. Even I guess you will, yeah, if you see, we also have preprocessor as well. So it's kind of like we use all the integrator functionalities in terms of both inbound and outbound integration. And after this particular integration or the sync is done, we print it in the detail logs. So yeah, this is how the EDI integration is taking place inside the DCKAP integrator. Also, one thing to note of is we also do send back the 997 functional acknowledgement. It's a mandate that all trading partners have. This is for both inbound and outbound. So that's something that the DCKAP integrator also supports as well. So that's something that just for information purpose, just wanted to let you know. And yeah, now these were all demo projects. Now I'll take you through an actual project and the one that we all discussed, the TrulinX to HubSpot integration for ACI controls. I'll take you through how the codes sync from TrulinX to HubSpot, and this is an actual integration, so it won't be as simple as what you saw in the other two. So if I open this, you can actually take a look at what's happening. We are uh, we are first fetching data from TrulinX. Now, if you see, we are fetching the codes data from TrulinX. It's written over here. Now, once we fetch the data, we loop in. Now, it will be multiple data. It won't only be one. So we loop in the data. Now, based on all these data one by one, we collect. The HubSpot company contact and owner details. Now, the next step would be like syncing the code. Now, while syncing the code, we first check if this particular code is there in HubSpot or not. Now, if it is there, then I mean, then we either create it or update it. Now, over here, if you see, we search the deals in HubSpot. If the HubSpot deal is available, then we update the deal. Now, if it is not available, then we create now there's the next step. Then we create the deal. Then we also have the mapping and modifiers. So I'll just take you through the actual, like, let's take you through one particular scenario where we're searching the deal, we find the deal. Now we update the deal based on the tooling data. You can actually see what's the mapping over here that that happens. You can also see the preprocessor data. So both of these are used as well. Now, after this particular mapping section, the updation of the deal, we also have another So we update the deal. We also then update the deal line items. So there can be increase or decrease of or like addition of or subtraction of line items as well. So we get the deal line items. We also read them. Based on that, we either like update them as well. Now, if you see, there's an update items as well. So upsert line item. If not, we can also take or create line items. So all of this is also done in this particular integration. Now, after the deals have been created or updated, we also go for another step that is, creating the association between the deals and the company and the contacts as well. So over here also you see, we are going for association of companies, association of contacts, so then unlinking a company if that's needed, and also unlinking a contact. So based on like all these particular steps. So there's a lot of things that, and this was all the business logic that the ECI controls told us before. We just didn't do it based on our own like experience, but we got this business requirement, the business data from the ECI controls team, the project manager, and in the discovery call, we got to know exactly what is needed. They created kind of a pseudocode. Based on that pseudocode. That's the development side of things, and they created this entire workflow based on the particular business logic that was needed. It was then tested by the ECI controls team. Obviously, there would be multiple iterations of testing as well. After everything was good, we went live. So this was the entire process of creating this particular workflow. And as I said, there this is this is how every normal workflow looks like. The demo one was quite an easy one, but as I said, the complex, easy, or any kind of integrations are possible by the DCKAP integrator. So this is where I would stop my side of the discussion, I would say, and I'll take Mohammed Muzammil over here to take charge to discuss on the ECI controls project. So he was the project manager for DCKAP integrator, and he was the person directly working with John and team in terms of implementing and having success with this particular project. So over to you, Muzammil.
Hi Dave, thank you. Um, all right. So before I give a very short and crisp presentation on the ACI controls projects that we took up, I want to ask you guys a very basic question. Like, guys who want to respond, you can put your reply in chat. The fundamental question is that, so what happens when there is a lack of communication between two different departments in an organization? Let's say you have a lack of communication between your sales department and let's say and the operations department. Typically, what happens? Can anybody want to respond? Like you can put it in chat. All right. So what typically happens when there is a lack of communication between two of your departments is that it leads to chaos and confusion within the organization itself. So communication among departments is the key to an efficient organization, and that's not the case between two different departments alone. And that's the case when you have two different systems. Like for example, you have an ERP system for operations and code generation, customer registration, stuff like that. And then you have a CRM to monitor your sales and marketing operations as well. So when your systems don't talk to each other, meaning when they are not integrated with each other, what might happen here is that because they don't talk to each other, it can lead to a lot of confusion and chaos. So this is the exact problem we solved for ACA controls, where we integrated their tooling CRP and their HubSpot CRM system. So let me share my screen. So the two systems that we did integrate for ACA controls is that we integrated the toolings platform with the HubSpot system. So the problems that they faced was like they had two different systems which were not synced in with each other. In other words, the tooling CRP managed the operational side of things, like the codes were generated and they were converted into orders, and territories were assigned for each sales reps. So these are the operation side of things were handled on the ERP side of things. But whereas the HubSpot side of things, it manages the sales pipeline and all the team activities. This separation without integration created a significant friction, data gaps, and operational delays. So, what are all the sort of pain points that they faced before they came to us? For example, let's say let's say a customer or a quote is being created in HubSpot. They have to go back to the ERP system and see what is the sales rep assigned to that particular customer, and then they have to come in into HubSpot system, and then they need to create that customer and quote, and then they need to manually assign that sales rep into the HubSpot system as well. So there was a kind of back and forth process that was going on. Second, so sometimes what might happen is that a quote which was created inside the tooling system will not been created inside the HubSpot system because the sales team and the operations team, they have to coordinate with each other, and whenever a code is being generated in the tooling system, somebody has to manually get into the HubSpot system and then recreate the same code. It's like doing the same work again and again. The third problem is that so whenever a code gets converted into an order inside the tooling system, that did not reflect into the HubSpot system as well. So what usually happens is that even after a code gets converted into an order, the code will remain as a code inside HubSpot system. So somebody has to manually identify that, hey, this code got converted into an order. They have to get into the system and manually mark that as converted order. So because of the manual data entry and it led to a lot of inconsistencies in pipelines and data between the two systems. Because there was a lot of inconsistency, between because of manual data entry between the two systems, the data that was present in HubSpot was not actually reliable to do analysis and then reflect the reality which is present inside the ERP. So this is what happens, as I said, not when your systems don't talk to each other, they create disconnection and disorientation, resulting in operational inefficiencies. So as I said earlier, so what happens is that whenever before we implemented the system, a sales manager had to manually assign the right sales rep in HubSpot after verifying who is the sales rep by referencing the tooling CRP for every new opportunity. And as mentioned earlier, I have highlighted the problem of quote invincibility. So whenever a quote has been automatically created in the tooling system, it doesn't get automatically created into the HubSpot system. So sometimes what might happen is that a quote which is present in tooling CRP, if it doesn't get created in HubSpot system, so the code becomes invisible to the topmost management. So the problem of deal stagnation, even when a when a code gets converted into an order into the tooling system, if that is not being updated into the HubSpot system, again that also leads to poor data and then analytic related inefficiencies on the HubSpot side of things. All right. So to solve this, what we did was we simply made Trollings and HubSpot to talk to each other using the DCKAP integration. So the goal was to automate the entire code to order conversion process and create a single source of truth so that so that the data which is present in HubSpot is in sync with the tooling system and uh, in sync with the tooling system as well. So the process of the automated code to deal workflow looks something like this. So whenever a code is created in tooling system, so DCKAP integrator picks that code and it automatically creates that code inside the HubSpot system. And whenever if that customer or contact is not actually present inside HubSpot, as part of the code creation process, it actually creates that customer and contact and assigns the sales rep to that customer and contact and then creates the HubSpot deal based upon the code data that we actually fetch from the tooling system. So because of this, what are all the changes that we begin to see? So what actually happens over here is that so the moment a code gets created into the tooling system and that code is assigned to a sales rep, then immediately once the code is created into the HubSpot system by the DCKAP integrator, the sales rep will be assigned by the DCKAP integrator inside the HubSpot system based upon the sales rep data for that code present inside the tooling system. So once that sales rep is assigned to the HubSpot system for the codes, the sales rep will receive an email notification from HubSpot saying that hey, you have been assigned a new code, and the sales rep will start doing his process of following up in the HubSpot system. Second, what happens is that once the deal is created inside the HubSpot system, we mark the status of the deal as quotation sent. And once the deal actually gets converted into an order after confirmation with the customer, and once the quote is is converted into an order after the confirmation with the customer, we mark the status as order one inside the HubSpot system, which is the closed one system. So, what are all the before and after effects that we saw after we implemented this, automation? Before we implemented this automation, automation, there was a huge delay in sales rep assignment. And after we implemented this, the one major achievement is that we instantly, as and when the sales reps were assigned to codes, we were able to create a code or update a code and then do territory based assignment to the sales rep and notify them, hey, we have received a new code, just follow up with the customer and then close it off. So the problem of invisible codes. So since since the operation guys have to manually create the code in ERP and the sales guy has to recreate the again the codes manually into the HubSpot system, the problem of invisible codes was very rampant. But because of the real-time deal creation in HubSpot based upon the codes that was created in TrulinX, that the problem of invisible code was solved, and the problem of stagnant deals. Which is like deals which got converted into an order, we began to mark them as closed one in HubSpot once the deal gets closed. And we completely brought down the idea of manual data re-entry on two systems. So whenever something happens in TrueLinks, it automatically gets reflected into the HubSpot system. So the problem of unreliable forecasting because of data consistency issues, um, that was caused by manual data entry, that was also completely solved. So whatever HubSpot pipeline, it actually begins to mirror the ERP pipeline with 100% strike rate. So the business impact, no manual work, less stress, and accountability, built in territory-based sales assignment ensures every opportunity has clear ownership from the moment of creation. So you can see accurate pipeline in HubSpot and faster responses. Sales rep know instantly when codes are sent or orders are placed, leading to a better and a more proactive, kind of customer experiences. This is the client verdict. We got this review in G2s from our own ACA controls team. They gave us a review after we implemented this project to them. We got a 5-star review for this project. Yeah, all right. So this is a summary of exactly what we did for our ACA controls team. Good. I'll hand it over to Dave.
Yeah, so the next part of the, this particular agenda, and which would be the last part, is an actual code sync from TrueLinks to HubSpot. So that's what we will be doing right now. John, is this a good time to start off?
To the question that's been posted by Bernd, also we'll address that once we open up the Q&A sessions. Bernd, we acknowledge your question and we'll get back to the question. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Dev. Thanks, Mohammed. I'll try to get this done here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into TrueLinks, create a quote, let me get out of it, and then I'm going to go over and jump into HubSpot and show you what it looks like. In theory, that's what I want to do. Let's hope it happens here. I gotta find this one here.
Mazurman, you can stop sharing your screen.
Yeah.
Because,
There we go. Share screen. Okay, can you see my TrueLinks screen?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to create a quote. And we're just going to label this one test. What I did here, just so everyone wants to know, is I utilized this contact field to create the new contacts in HubSpot. So I'm just going to grab one of the guys, and that's who the quote is going to go to. Save, create the quote. And I'm just going to enter 2 line items so you can see it. I'll just do a basic Parker fitting. And we're going to grab that one. We're going to do 1. And then we'll add another item, DC 2800-EE-0L0. And we're going to grab that one. So I've created quote number 206590. And, then I would, obviously I'd email this out to the customer and be set, and then inside sales can move on to the next thing. Now what I want to do, let's go down. And I have to share my other screen. Oh, let's see. Can you see the HubSpot screen here? Let's come up.
Yep, you can see it.
Okay, great. So I'm in HubSpot under my deals.
Muzamil, you can click on the sync in the integration project. So in the meantime, what Muzamil is doing is just clicking on the sync, because every 5 minutes this syncs. So he's just making sure that we do it faster.
So these are my deals. I'm the deal owner. We started this in September 1st. We went live. As you can see here are the quotes. Here are the quotes one. This sales pipe more quotes one. And they come over from TrulinX with the quote number and then the person's name so you can see it. As the outside guys log in after their day, they come in and they see everything they got for the day. And it'll populate up here. And just for example, I'll just quote. I bring up the quote. It has the person's name. It has over here all their contact information. And then under here, the line items are the items from TrulinX. And so now they can call up, follow up on themselves. You can send emails from here. You can do anything. We have an automated workflow that kicks in. We follow up every quote 2, 5, and 10 days afterwards. We have different verbiage for each deal, each quote, but we do 100% quote follow-up on everything. And as you can see, by the time I went out and came back in, here's the quote I just did to Ratik. There's the 2 line items right here. And I got all the quote information in here. The real power in all this is that the outside and inside team can then call and talk to each other about the quote to Ratik. They can call and talk about anything. But as soon as any one of my 9 inside people get an order, this rolls over to an order, it then updates and says quote 1. So then the outside guys and inside folks are coordinated through HubSpot, and no one has to worry about doing the quote follow-up. They see it, it's real time. At its longest point, it's 5 minutes, and that's just based on the synchronization of 2 databases. I just wanted to keep it quick and simple. Mohammed and Deb did all the hard part to make all this work. It really works well. We only have 3 stages of quotes. We have quotes, quoted, quotes won, and quotes lost. If we do not hear anything after 30 days, we automatically code it as quote lost. That's a decision we made, and you can always reactivate it, but that's a decision we decided to make so we had good, clean data throughout the whole process. If anyone has questions after this webinar, feel free to reach out and give me a call. I'll answer any of the questions you have as best I can. But Deb, that's about all I got. We can give it back to you. I think I covered everything.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, John, once again. And yeah, we could all see how we could. John created a code in TrulinX, and we were able to see the deal in HubSpot. So that was the goal of this integration. And yeah, we could it was nice that John could show that as well. Yeah, so Jeff and Lorna, can we have like a small question Q&A session here? I can see one of the questions that S Burnt has sent, and yeah, I mean to answer it in a few words, yes, we would be able to because all Ariba, Concentric, Coupa, all of them have APIs, and we directly connect with TrulinX. So I don't see why we should not be able to do that because we are able to integrate to any other platform as long as we have access to that data. So we can have like a one-to-one discussion on that just to understand exactly what you need. But yeah, in short, I would say yes.
Okay, thank you.
So yeah, so it's John is using Paul's ID in Microsoft Teams, so that's John Bisterat. So no, as of now, okay, we have not used EDI integration with ACI controls yet, but probably John, that's a question for you. Do you use EDI?
At this point, no, I'm on with Parker, and Parker has an old-fashioned FTP that still works, so I just stick with that. My other vendors have portals in which they kind of mandate that we order on the portal, so we just do a file import.
Any other questions? I believe you would be able to unmute and also ask if, this is probably a question in Q&A session, I would say.
We covered a lot, so thank you.